Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about something simple but powerful enough to completely transform your life. The 60 Days Challenge. Not a wish, not a shortcut, a decision, because real change doesn't happen in one day, and it doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It begins the moment you decide to take control. 60 days may not sound like much, but let me tell you this. 60 focused days can break habits that held you back for years. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they lack commitment. They start strong, then stop when it gets uncomfortable. This challenge is about showing up even when you don't feel like it. Everything in life begins with a decision. Not a wish, not a hope, not a promise made in an emotional moment, but a clear, firm decision. The first and most powerful step in the 60 Days Challenge is the decision to commit. This decision is not about trying for a few days and seeing how it feels. It is about drawing a line and saying, for the next 60 days, no matter what happens, I will not quit on myself. Most people want change, but very few decide to commit to change. They wait for motivation, confidence, or perfect conditions, but life never becomes perfect before you start. Commitment is what creates momentum, not the other way around. The moment you truly decide, your mindset shifts. You stop negotiating with excuses, and you start taking responsibility for your actions. A 60-day commitment forces you to stop thinking short-term. You stop asking, how do I feel today? And start asking, what kind of person do I want to become? This decision is not about comfort, it is about growth. Growth is uncomfortable, and commitment means accepting that discomfort is part of the process, not a sign to quit. When you commit for 60 days, you are telling yourself that your goals matter more than your mood. Some days you will feel energetic and confident. Other days you will feel tired, bored, or discouraged. Commitment means you show up anyway, because consistency is built when action continues even in the absence of excitement. This decision also separates dreamers from doers. Dreamers talk about change. Doers commit to it. They don't wait for applause or validation. They don't announce every move. They quietly decide and then let their actions speak. 60 days of commitment is enough time to prove to yourself that you can be trusted with your own promises. Committing for 60 days also brings clarity. When your mind knows there is no exit, it stops looking for shortcuts. Instead of asking, should I do this today? You automatically move into action. This removes daily mental stress and builds focus. Decision fatigue disappears because the choice has already been made. Many people underestimate how powerful a firm decision can be. Once you decide, your brain begins to work differently. You start noticing opportunities instead of obstacles. You manage your time better because your priorities become clear. You say no to distractions because you finally said yes to yourself. This commitment is also an act of self-respect. Every time you quit early, you send a message to yourself that your words don't matter. But when you commit and follow through, you rebuild trust with yourself. Confidence is not built by positive thinking alone. It is built by keeping promises, especially when it's hard. 60 days is long enough to challenge you, but short enough to feel possible. That is why the decision matters so much. You are not committing forever. You are committing for 60 days of discipline, focus, and effort. And once you complete those 60 days, you will realize you are no longer the same person who started. This decision will test your patience. Results may not show immediately. There will be moments when you question if it's worth it. Commitment means you continue even when results are delayed, because real change often happens quietly before it becomes visible. When you decide to commit, you stop blaming circumstances, people, or past failures. You take full ownership of your future. You accept that progress depends on what you do daily, not what you plan someday. This mindset shift alone can change the direction of your life. The 60-day commitment is not about perfection. You may make mistakes. You may have weak moments. Commitment means you don't let one bad day turn into quitting. You correct, refocus, and continue. That resilience becomes your strength. This single decision to commit fully for 60 days creates discipline, builds confidence, strengthens character, and unlocks potential you didn't know you had. It is not the size of the challenge that changes your life. It is the seriousness of the decision you make before you begin. One of the most powerful forces behind any life-changing transformation is daily discipline. Talent can open doors, motivation can spark excitement, but discipline is what keeps you moving forward when everything else fades. The second keynote of the 60 Days Challenge is understanding and applying the power of daily discipline, because your future is shaped not by what you do once in a while, but by what you do every single day. Daily discipline means doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. It is waking up with intention instead of hitting the snooze button and giving excuses control over your life. It is choosing progress over comfort, effort over ease, and growth over familiarity. Discipline is not punishment, it is self-respect in action. Most people wait for motivation to act. They say, "I'll start when I feel ready." But discipline teaches you a different rule. Action comes first, and motivation follows. When you act consistently, even on low-energy days, you train your mind to obey your goals instead of your emotions. This is where real strength is built. During the 60 Days Challenge, discipline becomes your anchor. There will be days when excitement disappears, when results feel slow, and when distractions seem more attractive than your goals. Discipline is what keeps you grounded in those moments. It reminds you why you started and pushes you to continue when quitting feels easier. Daily discipline also removes chaos from your life. When you have fixed habits and routines, you reduce unnecessary decisions. You don't waste mental energy debating whether to work, train, study, or improve. You simply do it. This creates clarity, focus, and inner calm. Structure becomes freedom. Man, people misunderstand discipline as something harsh or restrictive. In reality, discipline is what gives you control. Without it, your life is controlled by moods, cravings, and external circumstances. With it, you decide how your time, energy, and effort are spent. Discipline puts you in the driver's seat of your own life. In these 60 days, discipline will teach you patience. Results will not appear instantly, but discipline helps you trust the process. You begin to understand that success is not a sudden event. It is the outcome of repeated actions done quietly over time. Every disciplined day adds another brick to the foundation of your future. Daily discipline also builds mental toughness. When you consistently do difficult things, your mind becomes stronger. You stop fearing effort and start embracing challenges. What once felt hard slowly becomes normal. This shift changes how you see obstacles, not as barriers, but as opportunities to grow. As discipline strengthens, so does your self-belief. Each day you follow through on your commitments, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Confidence grows from evidence, and discipline provides that evidence daily. You no longer need external validation because you trust yourself. Discipline also teaches you to manage distractions. In a world full of noise, discipline helps you stay focused on what truly matters. You learn to say no to things that don't serve your goals and yes to actions that move you forward. This focus becomes a competitive advantage. The beauty of daily discipline is that it does not require perfection. Some days will be harder than others. Discipline means showing up even at 60%. It means choosing consistency over intensity. Small disciplined actions done daily will always beat big actions done occasionally. Over these 60 days, discipline will slowly change your identity. You will stop seeing yourself as someone who starts and stops, and begin to see yourself as someone who finishes. Someone reliable, someone strong. This identity shift is powerful because once your identity changes, your behavior naturally follows. Daily discipline may not bring applause or recognition, but it brings something far more valuable: control, confidence, and direction. By the end of this challenge, you will realize that discipline was never about restriction. It was about unlocking the best version of yourself, one disciplined day at a time. One of the most underestimated truths about success and transformation is the power of small actions. People often believe that change requires massive effort, dramatic moves, or overnight success. But real, lasting change is built quietly through small actions repeated every day. The third keynote of the 60 Days Challenge is understanding that small actions, when done consistently, create big change. Small actions may feel insignificant in the moment. Waking up 10 minutes earlier, reading a few pages, exercising for a short time, practicing a skill for half an hour, or choosing a healthier option may not feel life-changing on day one. But these actions are seeds, and seeds don't look impressive when planted, yet with time, care, and consistency, they grow into something powerful. Most people fail because they try to do too much too fast. They aim for perfection, burn out, and quit. Small actions protect you from that cycle. They make progress feel manageable. They reduce fear. They allow you to start even when confidence is low, because it's easier to commit to a small step than to a huge leap. During the 60 days challenge, small actions become your secret weapon. You stop focusing only on results and start focusing on process. You ask yourself, what is one small thing I can do today that moves me forward? That question changes everything. It shifts your attention from pressure to progress. Small actions also build momentum. When you complete a small task, your brain receives a signal of success. That success creates motivation to take the next step. Over time, these small wins stack up. Momentum grows. What once felt difficult becomes routine. What once felt impossible becomes normal. This is how habits are formed. Habits are not built by extreme effort, but by repeated small actions. The 60 days challenge gives you enough time to turn simple actions into automatic behavior. And once an action becomes a habit, it no longer requires constant willpower. It becomes part of who you are. Small actions also teach patience. In a world that demands instant results, choosing to trust small daily progress requires maturity. You learn to understand that growth is happening even when you cannot see it. Just like muscles grow after repeated workouts and knowledge grows after repeated learning, your life changes through repeated effort. Many people quit because they don't see immediate results. They forget that progress is often invisible before it becomes obvious. Small actions work quietly in the background. They strengthen your mindset, sharpen your skills, and prepare you for opportunities you don't yet see. When results finally appear, they seem sudden, but they are built on months of small actions. Small actions also reduce fear of failure. When the step is small, the risk feels small. You are more willing to try, more willing to experiment, more willing to learn. This creates a growth mindset, where mistakes are not disasters but lessons. Over 60 days, this mindset shift alone can completely change how you approach life. Another powerful effect of small actions is consistency. Big actions require high energy and perfect conditions. Small actions can be done even on bad days. Even when you are tired, busy, or unmotivated, you can still take a small step. Consistency beats intensity every time. As days pass, these small actions start shaping your identity. You stop thinking, I should do better, and start thinking, I am someone who takes action. This identity shift is subtle but powerful. Once you see yourself as disciplined, focused, and consistent, your behavior naturally aligns with that belief. Small actions also build self-trust. Every time you follow through on a small promise to yourself, you strengthen your confidence. Confidence does not come from thinking positive thoughts, it comes from evidence. And small actions provide that evidence daily. In the 60 days challenge, small actions also teach humility. You realize that greatness is not built by ego or shortcuts, but by showing up every day and doing the work. You stop comparing yourself to others and focus on your own daily progress. This focus creates peace and clarity. Over time, small actions create compound growth. Just like money grows through compound interest, effort grows through consistency. 1% improvement each day may seem tiny, but over 60 days it creates a massive shift in performance, mindset, and results. This is how ordinary people achieve extraordinary outcomes. Small actions are powerful because they are sustainable. They don't demand burnout. They don't require perfection. They only require commitment. And when you stay committed to small daily actions for 60 days, you don't just change what you do, you change who you become. By trusting small actions, you learn one of life's greatest lessons. Big change is not a single moment of courage, but the result of many small moments of discipline repeated day after day. At the heart of every lasting transformation lies mental strength and self-belief. You can have a clear goal, strong discipline, and consistent actions, but without a strong mind, everything collapses under pressure. The fourth keynote of the 60 Days Challenge is about building the inner strength that keeps you standing when life tries to pull you down, and the belief that reminds you who you are, even when doubts get loud. Mental strength is not about never feeling weak. It is about continuing even when you feel weak. During these 60 days, there will be moments when your mind tells you to stop, to slow down, to quit, or to settle. That voice will sound convincing. It will use your past failures, your fears, and your insecurities as evidence. Mental strength is learning to hear that voice without obeying it. Most battles in life are not physical, they are mental. Before you quit on your goals, you quit in your mind. Before you succeed mentally first. The 60 Days Challenge forces you to confront your thoughts daily. It shows you how often your mind tries to protect you from discomfort instead of pushing you toward growth. Mental strength is choosing growth over comfort again and again. Self-belief is closely tied to this strength. Many people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they don't believe they are capable. They doubt themselves before the world ever doubts them. Self-belief is not arrogance. It is quiet confidence built from action, effort, and resilience. It grows when you keep going despite fear. Over these 60 days, your self-belief will be tested. You may compare yourself to others. You may feel behind. You may feel like progress is too slow. Mental strength teaches you to stay focused on your own path. It reminds you that growth is personal and timing is different for everyone. Comparison weakens the mind. Focus strengthens it. Mental strength also means emotional control. Life will not pause for your challenge. Problems will arise. Stress will appear. Emotions will fluctuate. A strong mind does not deny emotions, but it does not allow emotions to dictate actions. You learn to respond instead of react. You learn to move forward even when emotions are heavy. One of the most powerful outcomes of the 60 Days Challenge is learning how to talk to yourself. Your inner dialogue shapes your reality. If you constantly tell yourself you are tired, incapable, or unlucky, your actions will reflect that. Mental strength means changing that dialogue. It means replacing "I can't" with "I'm learning." And "this is too hard" with "this is making me stronger." Self-belief is built through evidence. Every day you show up, every task you complete, every time you don't quit, you collect proof that you are capable. That proof slowly silences doubt. Confidence stops being something you chase and becomes something you carry. Mental strength also helps you handle failure differently. Instead of seeing failure as proof that you are not good enough, you start seeing it as feedback. You stop taking setbacks personally. You learn, adjust, and continue. This mindset is what separates those who succeed long-term from those who give up early. During the challenge, there will be days when your effort feels invisible. No praise, no recognition, no immediate reward. Mental strength teaches you to keep going without external validation. You learn to become self-driven. You stop relying on applause and start relying on purpose. Self-belief also changes how you see obstacles. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you start asking, "What is this teaching me?" This shift turns problems into training grounds. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to strengthen your mind. As mental strength grows, fear begins to lose its control. Fear does not disappear, but it stops deciding your actions. You begin to act despite fear. That courage builds momentum. Each brave step reinforces your belief in yourself. Mental strength also creates patience. You stop rushing results. You trust the process. You understand that transformation takes time and that every day of effort is moving you closer, even if progress feels slow. This patience protects you from quitting too soon. Over 60 days, you will notice something powerful. Situations that once overwhelmed you will feel manageable. Tasks that once felt intimidating will feel familiar. Challenges that once scared you will feel like opportunities. This is not because life became easier, but because your mind became stronger. Self-belief eventually becomes your foundation. When you believe in yourself, you take responsibility for your life. You stop waiting for permission. You stop doubting your worth. You start acting with confidence, not because you know everything, but because you trust yourself to figure things out. Mental strength and self-belief are not gifts given to a few lucky people. They are skills built through effort, struggle, and persistence. The 60 Days Challenge is not just shaping your habits, it is shaping your mind. And a strong mind, once built, becomes a lifelong asset that no one can take away.